Who are you to give me your opinion? What do you make? $50,000, $60,000 a year? Ha! You're a peasant! That's what Erica Wheeler's saying. Erica Wheeler came out yesterday and called all the fans broke. Peasants. We don't have an opinion. How dare us speak our opinions because we don't make millions of dollars? How dare us think for ourselves because we don't make $1 million?
Let's talk about what just happened there, because in less than 30 seconds, Erica Wheeler managed to insult millions of WNBA fans based on their income, not their opinions, not their arguments, their salary. And this wasn't some heat-of-the-moment comment during a game. This was a calculated social media post where she had time to think, time to edit, time to reconsider. She posted it anyway. Here's the tweet that started everything. Quote, "Y'all be hating so bad on WNBA players like it's sad. LOL. Like how you mad someone is making $1 million. Oh, it's because you make less than 150 a year." End quote. She actually wrote that. A professional athlete whose salary is paid through a league that's been subsidized by the NBA for 28 consecutive years, decided the problem with fan criticism is that fans are too poor to have valid opinions.
LOL. Like how you mad someone is making $1 million. LOL. Oh, it's because you make less than 150 a year. What type of humans are y'all? Like, are you sick? Like, did you guys get picked on growing up? Like, I am honestly concerned. Like, how you mad someone is making $1 million a year? Oh, cause you make less than 150. That's right, folks. If you don't make more than 150, Erica Wheeler doesn't really care about y'all.
The backlash was immediate and brutal. Fans who'd supported the WNBA through decades of financial losses, who'd advocated for higher player salaries during the 2020 CBA negotiations, who'd bought tickets and merchandise when arenas were half empty, suddenly found themselves being called peasants by the very players they'd championed. And Erica Wheeler wasn't backing down. 6 hours after the initial tweet, after the ratio got embarrassing, she posted a clarification. Quote, "This is for the people who are mad WNBA players are making money now. This is not for the people who are happy for us and who held it down with us." But here's the problem with that defense. Nobody was mad that WNBA players were making money. The criticism was about whether certain players deserve specific contract amounts based on the league's financial reality. That's standard sports discourse. Fans debate player value in every professional league.
Erica Wheeler, if I come out and say, you guys don't deserve to get paid this much, let's say you guys don't deserve to get paid this much, what's my reasoning? Well, it's because the WNBA hasn't turned a profit in 30 years. It has nothing to do with me making less than 150, has nothing to do with me making less than 60,000, has nothing to do with that. And you guys are asking, Ben, I don't see 60, 70,000 anywhere. Don't worry, we'll get to that. Erica Wheeler also said that about those types of people too. Then, of course, 6 hours later, after Erica Wheeler realizes that she's getting shat on for these comments,
This goes deeper than one player's bad tweet. This reveals something about how the new CBA changed the culture inside the WNBA. The 2020 collective bargaining agreement increased average salaries from $75,000 to $130,000. Maximum salaries jumped from $117,000 to over $200,000. By 2024, top players were signing deals worth multiple millions. And somewhere in that financial transformation, a segment of players stopped seeing themselves as part of the working class and started looking down on it. Think about the timeline here. In 2019, the average WNBA salary was $75,000. That's a comfortable living, but it's not wealthy. It's a teacher's salary, a mid-level office manager. These players were shopping at the same stores as their fans, dealing with the same economic pressures, living in the same reality. Then the CBA hits. Salaries double, triple, quadruple for some players. And suddenly there's this wealth gap between players and the fan base that never existed before.
I've supported you. This ain't it. LOL, why do you talk like that? Like. Those of us making 150K or less per year are the ones buying merchandise and tickets to your games. Don't forget that. And of course, Erica Wheeler in the comments doing damage control. But the funny thing is, folks, this has nothing to do with Erica Wheeler with the money with people clowning them now that they just got paid. Erica Wheeler has been clowning people for not making as much as her. Erica Wheeler has been saying, if you don't make 50, 60,000, what are you doing with your life?
Stuff that's on the platform. Like, who are you to ask me about what I'm doing in my personal life? Like, what I do shouldn't amount to anything that another human being have going on. Half the time, these fans are sitting on their couch watching TV, doing nothing with themselves, probably making 50 to 60,000 a year. Why should I care about their opinions? It means nothing to me.
Ah, yes, indeed. If you're making 50 to 60,000 a year, why should Erica Wheeler care about your opinions?
What makes Wheeler's comments particularly revealing is this isn't new behavior from her. The video shows another incident where she's dismissing people making $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Quote, probably making $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Why should I care about their pains? It means nothing to me. That's not a one-time mistake. That's a pattern. That's how she actually views working-class fans. And let's be specific about who she's insulting here. $50,000 to $60,000 a year. That's a registered nurse in Indiana. That's an elementary school teacher. That's a police officer or firefighter in most markets. These are people working full-time jobs, often with overtime, serving their communities. And according to Erica Wheeler, their opinions mean nothing because they don't clear six figures. These are the same people who might save up for 3 months to afford taking their daughter to a Fever game, who budget carefully to buy a jersey for Christmas, who stream games on League Pass and engage with WNBA content daily, and they're being told they're too poor to matter.
Extremely hard. Why are you worried about internet trolls? Go get in the gym and raise your shooting percentage. Time to hire someone else to read your replies, E. Don't do this. It doesn't help anyone. Y'all should enjoy the CC effect and let the fans say what they want. The league is still subsidized, so...
The response from fans was swift and merciless. One comment captured it perfectly. Not even 1 year ago, you were making less than $150. And now here you are demeaning people for it. That's the core hypocrisy. Erica Wheeler's WNBA career earnings through 2023 totaled approximately $1 million over 9 seasons. That's an average of $111,000 per year. For most of her career, she was making exactly what she's now mocking fans for earning. She was one of them. And the moment she got a bigger contract, she forgot where she came from. Another fan pointed out the economic reality. Those of us making $150K or less per year are the ones buying merchandise and tickets to your games. Don't forget that. And that's not hyperbole. The median household income in the United States is $74,000. The WNBA's core demographic skews slightly higher, but still sits well below 150,000. These aren't wealthy people attending games. These are middle-class families making sacrifices to support women's basketball. And they're being told to shut up and know their place.
We actually work hard every single day of the year. Y'all literally play like 3 to 5 months of the year and getting those overpaid. Most of the league are not even that good either to get that kind of money. LMAO. It's hard to support these players. It's very hard. But also, these same players will say, capitalism is bad. Capitalism is bad. Capitalism bad. And then what they'll say, well, if you're not making $150,000, you're a piece of shit peasant. Oh. Wait. Huh? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.
Here's what makes this situation even more absurd. The WNBA has never turned a profit in its 28-year history, not once. The league loses an estimated $10 million annually, subsidized entirely by the NBA. Player salaries aren't paid from WNBA revenue because there isn't enough revenue. They're paid from NBA profits. From the men's game, The economic model is completely dependent on external funding, and yet players like Wheeler are acting like they're self-made millionaires who earned every penny through market forces. Compare that to the NBA, where player salaries represent roughly 50% of basketball-related income. The revenue exists to support the salaries. In the WNBA, total league revenue in 2023 was approximately $200 million. Total player salaries exceeded that amount when you factor in benefits, travel, and the full compensation package. The math doesn't work without the NBA subsidy. So when Wheeler brags about making $1 million and looks down on fans making less, she's bragging about money that came from the very economic system she and other players often criticize.
You guys didn't want more money because you think you deserve it, because you think you've earned it. No, that's not the case. The players wanted more money so they had something in their back pocket so they can wag their fingers at the fans. What hurt these players more than anything was being looked at as normal people. It hurt them to their core. They needed to feel better than everybody else because they play women's professional basketball. They needed to feel above everybody else.
This brings us to the real motivation behind Wheeler's comments, and this is where it gets uncomfortable. The argument in this clip suggests players didn't fight for higher salaries because they needed the money or deserved it based on revenue generation. They fought for higher salaries so they could feel superior to regular people, so they could have ammunition when fans criticized them, so they could say, "What do you make?" and dismiss anyone who doesn't clear 6 figures. Think about how twisted that is. The entire narrative around the 2020 CBA was about fairness, about equity, about women getting paid what they deserve. Players positioned themselves as labor activists fighting against exploitation. Fans rallied behind that message. Social media campaigns supported higher WNBA salaries. And now we're finding out that for some players, it was never about fair compensation. It was about creating a class hierarchy where they could look down on the working people who support them. Here's what this controversy reveals about the current state of the WNBA and why it matters beyond one player's bad tweets. The league just came off its most successful season in history. The 2024 WNBA season averaged 1.2 million viewers across national broadcasts, up from 462,000 in 2023. That's a 160% increase year over year. Attendance rose 48%. Merchandise sales tripled. The Caitlin Clark effect brought unprecedented attention and revenue to the league. For the first time in WNBA history, there was legitimate momentum toward financial sustainability. And in the middle of this growth, when the league desperately needs to convert casual fans into dedicated supporters, veteran players are actively alienating the fan base. Erica Wheeler isn't some fringe player nobody's heard of. She's a 9-year veteran, a former all-star, someone with a platform and influence. When she tells fans they're too poor to have opinions, that message reverberates. It confirms every negative stereotype about WNBA players being entitled and ungrateful. It gives ammunition to critics who argue the league doesn't deserve support. The timing couldn't be worse. The WNBA is in expansion mode, adding teams in San Francisco and Toronto with more cities being considered. Television deals are up for renegotiation. Sponsors are finally showing serious interest. This is the moment when player-fan relationships should be strengthening, when athletes should be embracing the growing support. Instead, we're seeing players draw class lines and exclude the very people whose support they need. And it's not just Wheeler. She's simply the most explicit example of an attitude that's been growing in the league. Remember the dark side controversy from earlier this season? Dejanai Carrington and other players referred to Caitlin Clark's fan base as the dark side, implying that fans who came to the WNBA through Clark were somehow less legitimate than existing fans. That's the same elitist mentality, the same gatekeeping, the same message that certain people aren't welcome unless they meet arbitrary criteria. The economic irony is staggering. These players are making more money than ever, specifically because of the expanded fan base they're now insulting. The 2020 CBA that increased salaries was negotiated based on projected revenue growth. That growth was supposed to come from new fans, casual viewers, people who didn't previously follow the WNBA. The league needed to expand beyond its core demographic to justify higher player salaries. And now that those new fans have arrived, bringing their money and attention, they're being told they're not good enough. Let's talk about what this means for player-fan dynamics going forward. Professional sports operate on a social contract. Fans provide financial support through tickets, merchandise, and viewership. In exchange, they get entertainment and the right to have opinions about the product. They can criticize plays, debate roster decisions, question coaching strategies. That's not disrespect. That's engagement. That's what being a fan means. But Wheeler's comments suggest some WNBA players want unconditional praise without criticism. They want the financial benefits of fan support without accepting fan opinions. They want to be treated like celebrities while maintaining the moral authority of underdogs. That's not how professional sports work. You can't take people's money and then tell them to shut up because they don't make enough to matter. The comparison to other leagues is instructive. NBA players make tens of millions of dollars, vastly more than their fans. But you don't see LeBron James tweeting that fans making under $500,000 a year should keep quiet. You don't see NFL players dismissing criticism by asking fans about their salaries. Professional athletes in profitable leagues understand that fan engagement, including criticism, is part of the job. The salary gap doesn't eliminate fans' right to have opinions. The WNBA is different because the salary gap is smaller and newer. Many players remember when they were making $75,000 and genuinely were closer to middle class. The sudden wealth has created an identity crisis. Some players are handling it well, staying grounded and appreciating fan support. Others, like Wheeler, are using their new salaries as weapons to establish superiority. What's particularly damaging is how this feeds into existing criticisms of the WNBA. For years, critics have argued that WNBA players are overpaid relative to the revenue they generate. Supporters have countered that women deserve equal investment and that revenue will grow with proper support. That's a reasonable argument. But when players start bragging about their salaries while the league still loses money, while the NBA subsidy continues, while ticket prices remain low because the market can't support higher prices, it undermines the entire defense. Wheeler's tweet gives critics everything they need. See? They don't deserve the money. They're not humble. They're not grateful. They look down on the fans. Whether that characterization is fair to all WNBA players is irrelevant. One player's arrogance becomes the story that defines the league in that moment. And the WNBA can't afford that narrative when they're still fighting for legitimacy and financial stability. The social media response has been overwhelmingly negative, which should concern the league office. These aren't trolls or casual haters. These are dedicated fans, many of whom have supported the WNBA for years, expressing genuine hurt and anger. When your core supporters feel disrespected, you have a crisis. The WNBA Players Association should be having serious conversations with players about media training and fan relations. This isn't about restricting free speech. It's about protecting the league's growth and everyone's financial future. Here's the question the WNBA needs to answer. What kind of league do you want to be? Do you want to be accessible and fan-friendly, building relationships with working-class supporters who see themselves in the players? Or do you want to be exclusive and elite, where players maintain distance from fans they consider beneath them? You can't be both. And right now, players like Wheeler are making that choice without considering the consequences. The path forward requires accountability. Wheeler should apologize, genuinely, not with a defensive clarification that misses the point. The Players Association should address this publicly, making clear that insulting fans based on income is unacceptable, and the league needs to have honest conversations about player-fan dynamics before this attitude becomes normalized. Because here's the reality, the WNBA needs fans far more than fans need the WNBA. There are countless entertainment options competing for people's time and money. The league has spent decades trying to build a sustainable fan base. They finally have momentum. And if players squander that momentum by alienating supporters, by creating class divisions, by telling working people they don't matter, that momentum will disappear faster than it arrived. So the question for you, are you still supporting players who view you as peasants? Does Erica Wheeler's apology change anything, or does this reveal how some players really feel? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have an honest conversation about what fan support means and whether it's a two-way street. And if you want more WNBA analysis that doesn't sugarcoat the issues, subscribe to the channel. We're calling it like we see it.